Hello everybody, it's me Alicia. So for this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make this awesome bracelet. This bracelet is just mind-blowing awesome. It is, I can't tell you how awesome this is. Oh my gosh, I love this so much. So this is a bracelet that I was telling you guys about that I was working on before Hurricane Irma, and then I found out it was going to hit me. I was actually ready to film it, but I put it off to prepare for the storm. So anyways, this was the first one I made. I used 4mm round beads, and the bronze ones Lisa sent me. Remember the beads she sent me? And she also sent me these turquoise ones, so I put them with the peach and the orange, and I love these colors together. It's so pretty, and watch what this does. If you turn it, see how it does that? Isn't that cool? I just like playing with that. So anyways, I made this with monofilament, believe it or not. Now it was a little confusing figuring out how to make this continuous, but I did manage, and I actually kind of forgot how I did it, so I have to remind myself for this video. So after I did this one, I thought, well, what if I did faceted rounds? And I wanted to stay with the 4mm. So after I did that one, I did 4mm check rounds, and I used these here because they are so beautiful, and I really wanted to show them off. I got these from Sugar Gems. They're really unique. Now when I did this one, for some reason it's laying differently. Like if you look at this one, it has a square look. There's 4 flat sides. But this one kind of has like a diamond shape to it, which I actually prefer because of how I did 2 colors beads in this one. When I wear it, you know, you see the fancy beads on the sides, and I actually prefer it like that because they're showing more. Because this here is just a solid color, so I don't know why this is laying differently, but I'm actually happy that it is laying like this because it looks so cool. Okay, so after I did those, I was thinking, I gotta go up in size. What if I did 6mm? So Lisa, she sent me these green ones right here, and they are just amazing. I hope the color's showing up. They are gorgeous. And I went through my stash, and I discovered that I actually had the same kind and size beads as these here. I found these blue ones, this green here and this blue, and I put them all together, and I really like that. It's very sparkly. And also I wanted to do a clasp because this was kind of confusing closing a bangle, and I knew that some of you would have a hard time with it, and I want everybody to be able to make this. So I figured out how I could put a clasp on here. So I did that, and I will be working on this one in the video, showing how to finish this off. Now, this is what I did before the storm, and during and after the storm, you know, when there was downtime after working so hard, I was thinking, how else could I make this? You know, what else could I do? And I instantly thought of seed beads. Seed beads are my absolute favorite bead. If I only had one bead to work with for the rest of my life, it would be seed beads, because I can do so much with them. So anyways, I took and got 6 OC beads, and I took my S-Lon cord, and this is the only one that I have. That's S-Lon, it's made by Beadsmith cord, and it's nylon, and I made this here. Now for some reason, it's twisting. Do you see that? So the first one I made had the square look, then this one has like a diamond shape. And this one here, it didn't really change other than, you know, having a clasp on that one. But when I did it with seed beads, it twisted. And I think the reason why it's doing it is because of the rondelle shape. I think. I'm not totally sure. But I think that's why it's doing it. Because, you know, the rounds are round, perfectly round. But this has like a rondelle shape. The seed beads do. But I love how that looks twisted. That's really cool. So anyways, I did some micro macrame. This is my closure here. I like to have like a little tassel down there. It's so cute. And because this is nylon, I was able to melt my knots with a lighter. So this is really good. I love that so much. Now after I did the 6O seed beads, I was like, what about 8Os? Will they work? Well, yes, because 8Os go on to this Superlon cord. So I did 8Os, and look at this one, it's so cute. Now I also noticed that because the beads were smaller, I got more twists. So if you look at this one here, it's not as twisted as this one. So this one's really twisted, and I really think it's because the beads are smaller. So this one here, that's my closure there. I just did, you know, one of each color on the end. It was pretty easy. This one has 4 holes, that one has 2, and this was a 2 shell buttons that I stacked. I've had those for a long time and I love them. Now, this one here, I noticed that it's not twisting as much. I feel like every one that I make is a little bit different, and in a good way. So this one here, I used a cup button, and I love these Miyuki Picasso. I am addicted to Picasso beads, and I realized that this one is not as twisted. It's twisting, but not as twisted, I think, as this one. And I think I know why it's doing it, because this turquoise, this one here is called eggshell, and this purple, those are all Preciosa check seed beads. But this one's Miyuki, and I noticed that when I look from above, I may not see it so well with this one here, but this Miyuki bead is a little bit bigger around, and I think that's why it's not twisting as much. Because, you know, it's a different brand. So I did get the best results with the check. Just using all check. This was all check also. So anyways, I will be showing how to finish this off in the video. So for this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to do it with a clasp. I'm going to show you how to do the bangle style. And I'm going to show you how to do it with the beading cord. I'm sorry if the beginning of this seems long, but I really needed to explain all of this to you guys. So I hope you enjoy this video. Let's get started. So I'm going to show you how to do the bracelet with the clasp, and because the beads I'm using have sharp holes, and because I'm using the clasp, I realized it's best for me to crimp this instead of tying knots. So I'm going to use bead stringing wire. This is nylon coated stainless steel bead stringing wire. This is the size 0.010, and this is 1,000 feet. I use this wire all the time, especially this size, and I got this from Amazon. Great deal. A viewer told me about this, and I really appreciated her telling me about this because it's great stuff. So anyways, I'm going to use this because the holes are sharp and because of the clasp, and I will be able to crimp it, which will make it easier. So for this one, if you want one like this, you will need 6mm beads. Now, even if you're doing beads that don't have sharp holes and you're doing the clasp, I still kind of recommend that you crimp it. It's just going to be so much easier than tying knots. You can't crimp the bangles. You just can't do it. You have to tie knots in these. And by the way, I don't remember if I told you or not, but I used monofilament to make these, and they just turned out awesome. Okay, so each one of these is different. You know, I've found that some things work, some things don't. Some things work better than other things. So, for this one, I'm using 6mm beads. You can also use 4mm. You can probably also use 8, but that's going to be really big. So, these I said are all faceted glass. You're also going to need seed beads. These are 11O seed beads. I'm using 16 of them. You can also use 10Os. I'm using 8 for each end to attach the clasp. You're also going to need a clasp of your choice. I'm using a lobster claw and a split ring. You will need 2 split rings or jump rings, whatever you want. And you're going to need crimps. These are #1 crimps because that's what my bead string wire calls for. So this is what you need to make this one here. Let's get started. Okay, so for demonstration purposes only, I'm going to be using monofilament to show you how to do this. I'm not going to keep this. I'm actually going to take it apart and use the beads to finish this out because it's not long enough. But for demonstration purposes only, I'm going to use monofilament to show you how to start this. So take 1 string, and by the way, you will need 4 feet. I am trying to show how to do this 3 different ways, and for some reason it's really confusing to me. Well, they're all kind of different, so I'm trying to remember this. You will need 4 feet to make it with the clasp. You will need 4 feet each for the bangles. And to do this style, you will need 5 feet. Now, I'm going to have all the materials down there in the description bar. I will also try to count some of the beads. I'm not going to tell you the numbers here. It's just way too much to tell you on camera. I will also have other notes down there in the description bar, so please look down there. There's a lot of information you guys need to check out. Okay, so to start this, I'm going to take 1 4-foot piece of monofilament. I cut 2 4-foot pieces. But to start this bracelet, I'm just going to take one 4-foot piece for now, and I'm going to pick up my 8 seed beads. Okay, I got 6 on there now. Okay, I'm actually going to pick this up. Okay, and then my last 2, so this is a total of 8. I'm going to hold this between my fingers. I'm going to crisscross through these 2 beads. Like that. Put the ends together, make sure they're even. Bring these 2 down, and you should have this. Okay, now I'm going to pick up 2 round beads, and let's see here. I started with a green, the 2 greens across from each other, so I'll do that. So I'm picking up 1 green on this side, 1 green on this side. Now I'm right-handed, so when I go to tie these knots, I always do right over left. And I've done this with every single one of these, and I wonder that if I were to do, like, you know, swap it and do left over right, like back and forth, if the twist would disappear. Maybe also I have this twist because I always tie it right over left. That's something else I've thought about. So if you have any problems, that might be something you have to pay attention to. Okay, so I have my string here, putting the right over the left, going underneath, grabbing it, just like this. Now because I'm using large beads, I have to go twice. This is very important. I figured this out when I was making the big one. I realized that I had to go over and under twice because I needed this distance. Do you see that distance it gives me? If I go over and under one time, these beads are too close together, so this separates the beads perfectly. So pull that tight, and we have this. Okay, that's the beginning. Now I'm going to take my other string, and I'm going to pick up my blue beads, but first I have to go under here. So I'm going to go under here, under that knot I just made, okay, with one end. Oops. Now when you first start this, it's really kind of confusing, and you're like, what in the world? But once you get going, it starts looking good. Okay, so you can see here, I left those 2 strings. I have a new string here. I just passed underneath that knot. I'm going to pick up 2 beads, and I'm doing the blue across from each other. Okay, so I have 1 on each end, and again I have my right string, putting it over my left. I'm going to do over and under twice, like this. I'm going to put my ends together because I need them to be even. Put my finger here and slide this all the way down and try to find center. Okay, so right there's center. So now I have strings going this way and this way, kind of like an X. Okay, and we're going to be doing this the whole time, stacking. So you could see there, I have that tied. So now I'm going to go back to the green. So the very first string I started with, okay? And I'm going to keep the same color on top. So on top of this one, I'm going to add the same color. On top of this one over here, I'm going to add the same color. Now, I just slid them down. Okay, just lost my end. When you go to pick up your strands, always pick them up from the inside of the piece. Never just grab the end. Always start at the inside and pull them out to find the end. Now I'm going to take my right strand again and go over the left twice, just like that, and pull this down. Now you may have to make sure that you have 1 string going that way and 1 going that way. Okay, we're going to tie this knot on top. Slowly bring it down like this. Okay, and you will have to constantly tighten it. I actually go like this and I pull all 4 at the same time. So here you can see we're starting it. Okay, so now I'm going to stop and go to the blue, and I have to pick up the same color. So what's here, I have to pick that color up. So grabbing this string, I'm going to pick up this blue, and then my other one is the light blue, and slide those down. Okay, so we have that. And again, I'm going to go over and under, and I'm right-handed, so I always do right. And we're doing this twice. Now when I go to do the smaller beads, we only go over and under one time because they're smaller. I'll show you when I get there. Okay, so now pulling this down, and you may see, you know, that it's loose at the bottom. So if it is, grab these two beads like that, pull them tight, and then pull your strings tight. Now I have to go back to the green. Okay, and by the way, when you first start this, it's a constant battle of keeping these tight so it has this square shape. Okay, so back to the green I am, and I'm going to pick up the colors that I need to, you know, the same colors that have to be stacked. So like that. Okay, that's what it looks like so far. Again, I'm going to take my right string, put it over my left 2 times. 1, 2, bring this down. Make sure that your string at the bottom is going out this way and that way. Make sure they're not both going out one side. Okay, now pull this down and pull that tight. Hope my monofilament doesn't break on me. I just need it to get me through this little part here. Okay, so this is what we have now. You can see that it's already taking on that square shape with the flat sides. It's pretty cool, and it's starting to stay tighter for us now. Okay, so on this side I have to pick up the light blue, and then I have to do the aqua blue on that side. Okay, now once you start going with this, it gets really easy and it's a breeze, and oh my gosh, it's so much fun to do. It's like crocheting or something. And when you look at this bracelet, you know, when I first made it, I thought it was strange how it had that square look, okay? And I thought it was cool, and I made that one. I thought it was neat. But then when I started working with the seed beads, I thought, oh my gosh, this looks like kumihimo or crocheted. It looks like it's crocheted. It's so neat, but it's not. It's just done with these little knots. Okay, so over and under in that one. So the next color I have to do is green. So I have to turn it, okay, and do the green now. So green on that side and this green on that side. Okay, I'm going to go over and under twice and pull that down. Now I have to go to the blue. I'm going to pick up this one on that side and this one on that side. Okay, slide that down. So now over and under like that twice. Bring that down. Go to the green now. The pale green. And then this iris one. Slide those down. And with my right string I'm going over and under twice. Pull that tight. Then back to the blue. Something else I also noticed, that if you go over and under one time with the 6mm beads, it wants to unravel. It won't stay. But once you do it twice with the 6mm beads, it stays. Okay, so I just picked up those two, and I'm going to go over and under again. Bring that down. And now I have to swap back to the green. Sometimes you have to check and make sure it's tight. Okay. Okay, it looks good so far. It's got our square shape going on. Okay, so now I'm going to do the green, and I'm just going to use these up, and then I'll stop and show you how to finish this. Okay, so again, over and under twice. And again, reminder, if you are using 4mm for this, you're only going to do over and under one time for each time you do this. Okay, I have 2 left. Over and under twice because I'm using 6mm. Okay. And there we go. It's as simple as that. So keep going doing this until you have it long enough to be a bracelet. And it's kind of hard to tell you how many you need. You'll have to keep a ruler with you and measure it as you go. I'm going to try to tell you the bead counts for the bangles, because I think those are the most important. These do have a tiny little bit of stretch to them, which is nice. I do have small hands, but I think that these would fit just about anybody. So I will count these and tell you how many I use, but they are 4mm. I don't know how many 6mm you will need to make a bangle, but I could tell you how many 4mm you will need. Okay, so keep going this until you get to the length you need, and then I'll show you how to finish it. Okay, so I'm ready to finish this off, and I have 4 beads left. Okay, this is what it looks like. I just untied one, that's why it's kinked like that. And I'm going to put my blue beads on, you know, following the same color pattern. And I don't know if I should twist this, or knot it, which makes it twist, or just pick up the crimps. I'm going to try just the crimps. So I have 2 crimps here, 2 size number 1. And I'm passing through here. Let's see. Okay, I think that I'm just going to crimp it like this. Okay, so I'm going to make sure this is pulled tight. So I'm going to crimp these 2. So I'm going to wrap this around my fingers. I have some chain nose pliers, which I forgot to mention you will need for this. And also I realized I miscounted the beads. It was actually 14 you need, because we're putting crimps here. You don't need 16, you need 2 less. So you will use 6 at one end and 8 on another end, okay? So try to pull this tight, like this, best you could do, and then go in there and crimp your beads. And it helps if you have fine tip chain nose pliers. Okay. So I crimped those. Okay. I'm gonna pull my green tight. And now I'm going to do the green. I don't know if I should trim it yet. Let's see. I guess I will. Yeah, if I go down a bead, it might come out. So I'm going to trim this now. So trim it like that. The ones we just crimped, not the ones that are tied, but the ones we just crimped. We should be done with those, okay? So it looks like this. And then we're going to cover these with these beads here. So I'm going to pick up one on this side and one on this side, like that. And then I'm going to pick up my crimps and crisscross through them. Okay. Like that. So see how it covers the crimps below? You can't see those, but you will see these here. There's nothing I can do about that. Okay, so now I'm going to pick up my seed beads, which there are 6 of, and the rest of my split ring, or rest of my clasp, which is just a split ring, and then I'm going to cross through all of these, my other wire, and bring this down. Okay, and I'll zoom this in for you. Okay, so you can see we have this here. So what I have to do is pass this bead stringing wire through these crimps again, like that. Take the other one, do the same. Okay, pull that snug. I hope this is going to tighten up for me. Let's see. This is what it looks like. It's a little loose on the green side. I'm going to have to open this back up. Let's see here. You know what I'm going to do? Maybe I should just do one. I have one crimp, not one crimp, I have one wire, okay, on that end. So, why fuss about getting two on this end? I'm going to do one. That's what I'll do to fix it. It should hold up fine. So, which string am I pulling? That's wrong. Okay, so now I have just one. Okay, so I'm going to pull it like that. There we go. That fixed it. Yes, that's great. I'm very happy now. Okay, so now I have to hold this tight and come in here, focus camera, and smash these two crimps. That little split ring is jumping in my way. Okay, so I crimped those, and now all you have to do is trim the wire. Trim it close, and then we're all done. Look at that. So cool. I really like that. Okay,